Okay, welcome back everybody to part 12 of my Great Plains J-3 Cub build. We got a lot done. Let me take a moment to catch you up to where we're at. Okay, and we are back. As you can see from the previous segment, I've been working on the fuselage. I still have the top of that turtle back or turtle deck to do, but I'll do that offline. Right now, we're going to work on the motor and the cowl. I got this Great Plains aluminum motor mount that I'm going to use. It's going to mount right up in there like that. I'll probably have to make, I did sort of a test fit. I think it's a little long. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to, let me show you here. I'll have to cut a little bit off of here and maybe a little bit off of there just to make it fit shorter. But that's not a big deal. But the first thing I need to do is get that cowl positioned exactly where it's going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on this. I'm going to get this scrap trimmed off around here. I'm going to get these 3 holes cut in that they want you to cut for cooling. So yeah, I'm going to work on that, and then we'll be able to find out exactly how long the shaft needs to stick out from the fuselage. So we'll figure that out here in a second. So let me get to that, and I will get right back to you. Okay, so I got the front openings opened up here. What I did here was I drilled a hole, and then I kind of used one of my little drum sanders for my Dremel. Made that nice and round there, and then I used the Dremel to cut out those 2 openings as well. And I got the sides mostly trimmed off. Need to do a little bit more there, but I'll do that before I paint it. Everything's right before the final sanding, or final painting. I'll do the sanding, I should say. And then I used this little measuring device here, measured back to the firewall, and kind of found where I want the back of the prop mount here to go. As I expected, I will have to cut some of it off, but that's not going to be a big deal. That'll be next. We'll get that adjusted to the right size, and then we'll get it installed. So we're moving right along. Let me do that, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, real quick, one thing I forgot to mention. This cowling wouldn't fit all the way back to where it was supposed to go on the fuselage here. It was very, very tight. It was about 3/4 of an inch short. So what I did was I did sand the front of this a bit, and as much as I could, but it still was short. So I took it and I heated up some water on the stove, and I not boiling water, but just very hot, just like it's about to bubble. and I stuck that down in there. I put it down in there. I put about as much water as I needed to get the distance that I wanted. And so I'd let it heat up, and then I'd push it on. After a couple of minutes, I'd take it off and heat it up a little bit more. And so basically, I just opened up this back end a little bit. In fact, it's still wet. And I was able to close in a little bit of that margin. So that worked pretty good. I don't like doing that because I don't know where I would get another one of these if I ruined it. So anyway, yeah, it fits on a lot better now. I just opened it up a little bit here with a little bit of hot water and pressing it on to open it up a bit. Worked okay. So now let me get to that engine mount. Okay, and we're back. I got that motor mount adjusted in length. I had to cut a little bit of it off, but it's in there, looking pretty good. I was really lucky because I don't know if you remember, I mentioned that I had put in the blind nuts for a nitro engine mount, and I was able to use the very first screw from that to get this started, and it lined up perfectly. So I only have to put in 3 more screws, or I had to put in 3 more screws, 3 blind nuts. That's all done. Next thing, I'll be moving on to figure out where to get this ESC in. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm using a 60 amp ESC, and the motor is an E-Flight Power 46. I think it should be okay. Give it enough oomph to go. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and continue working on this now. I'm going to put in the mounting blocks, the screws for the canopy so I can get it fixed permanently. Kind of just working on the fuselage, working on it from nose to tail, and hopefully we'll get some more done. So let me work on this cowling a little bit more, and then I will get right back with you. Okay, and welcome back. Flip the fuselage around. We're working on the tail now. I'm going to try to put in this stabilizer wire kit that I bought here on eBay for a little bit more scale. We're going to try to achieve this look right here with the wires. I guess it's a strut assembly. I'm not really sure what they call it. But I found this kit, and you can install it a couple different ways. They've got a Kevlar string, I guess you might call it, here that you can use, or you can use this braided wire, whichever one you want to do. And it even tells you which ones are easier to install, which ones look best, and it's got some cool advice printed on the front here. So I'm going to go ahead and open this package up, see what kind of hardware I got in here, make some measurements, and see about getting it installed on here. So let me read about this a little bit, and I will get right back to you. Okay, and we are back again. I got a lot of that hardware sorted out. There's a lot of pieces with this, but you only need a few of them. They gave you a lot of different options for connecting them up. They gave you a clevis here, or several of them, that you can attach to one end here so you can make it, tighten it or loosen it. We won't need that. This is steel braided wire. It's probably not going to stretch, so... And to use this piece, the clevis, you had to screw on that, and this is where the cable attached through. But this little buckle here, whatever you want to call this, was just a little bit big for the scale. I mean, it would have made it about that big on the real plane. So I decided not to go with those. I wanted to leave it as sleek as I could, and it turned out pretty good. The first one's installed. It went on really easy. Um, so basically, I just need to cut a hole here. What's nice is when you cut a hole through here, you're actually installing two pieces, because this was one hole and this is one hole, and the bottom wire will come down through here. It's mounted. In fact, I have the little coupler here already. So yeah, and then I'll probably snip off a little piece of this bolt here that's sticking out, and I'll put a little dab of CA or just a little dab of epoxy or something on there to keep them from coming loose. But yeah, it looks pretty good. Nice and tight. So I'm going to go ahead and continue working on this. I'm going to get this other side installed, and then I don't know if I'll put the bottom ones on until I mount the tail wheel. I'll have to see if they're going to interfere with each other. But let me continue with that, and I'll get right back. Okay, got the other side done on the top of the stabilizer. I just need to put just a little dab of epoxy on the top of that nut right there, both sides. And then I need to put the final crimp in. Those basically just on there right now, but they're not crimped yet. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that some more. Then I'm going to see if that tail wheel is going to interfere with the bottom wires and maybe make some adjustments there. But they will go on. I'm probably going to work on that here in a minute. Just wanted to show you that I got the top of those done, and we are moving on. Okay, got a bit more done here. Got the lower flying wires installed, both sides. Just need to clean it up a little bit. I'm going to get a little bit off of that bolt there and put a dab of epoxy on there, and that'll be done. Basically what I did, the top wires were bolted at both ends, and also got the tail wheel here, as you can see, but it was going to interfere with the tail wheel bracket here. So I just went ahead and ran a single strand or single length of wire underneath the tail wheel bracket there, and that holds it tight there. And then I did the standard install on this end. So yeah, it looks pretty good, I think. Getting there. The tail wheel will be hooked up when after I put the rudder on. The rudder's going to go like right in here somewhere. And then right on here, there'll be a little bracket on both sides. And then from there to there will be a spring. And it'll be spring loaded. So when the airplane's on the ground and the tail wheel's motionless, and you hit the rudder, the spring will load up. It'll stretch, and as the plane begins to roll, that spring will unload and straighten the wheel out. Theoretically, hopefully. I got to finish tightening up the covering here. But yeah, it's looking really good. I think, however, that's where I'm going to leave it for today. I'm going to go ahead and get this video out and then see what else is going to be working on. Probably when I come back, I'll have the elevator and the rudder all installed and the tail wheel hooked up. I'll probably do that offline. And get the windows installed. And the servos have to go in, but that's basically it for the entire fuselage. Still need to cover the ailerons and get them installed onto the wing, but that'll happen eventually soon, I hope. So yeah, looking good, and we're getting there. This thing will fly this year, I hope. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you like about this build. Let me know what you think I should have done differently. Not that I could probably change it now. But anyway, I still like to hear your comments. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned soon for probably the last video of this build. There's really not much left to do, just some final assembly stuff, and that's it. So we will see you again soon, I hope. Thank you very much for tuning in. Good night, everybody.